Hey guys, we here. I had a buffalo chicken pizza today and hated it. Now you know more about me. And I am here with my big brother Devin and a new
What's up?
guest on the Power Ranking channel. Because none of y'all know shit about Pokemon, so we got somebody who does. And his name is Muffinator. So he can introduce himself now. Say hi.
Hello,
Fuck.
it's Muffin or Muffinator.
Just gonna check my
I think you're
OBS.
hyping me
We
up
are
a bit
indeed
too much,
recording.
though, ill kid.
Well, the thing is, our friends are actually potato-like whenever it comes to talking Mons. So,
Oh,
you can't really be much worse than them. But,
oh,
no, I'm
that's
kidding,
that's that's
guys.
comforting, I guess.
You know I love you all. I'm kidding,
I was
guys.
gonna say, and you think I'm fucking harsh? I mean, goddamn, going for the throat, Brandon.
Well, okay, give us like a minute, and then you'll start being the asshole, and I'll start calling you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, so basically how we did this, you know the deal. We took 8 teams, gave them a little listing, and gave you a little bit of an analysis on why we listed them in the position that we listed them in. Obviously, if you guys have any disagreements or arguments, we are always open to discuss. I'm more than willing to tell you how wrong you are. There's no problem with that. I'll tell you that all day. I guess we'll go ahead and kick things off. Yeah, when you got
Because
anything you want to add before we
obviously,
go?
yeah, obviously, our word is law, and everything we say is infallible. But we gave you guys the option of having a really really broken mon for draft and like a pretty damn broken mon for draft. And some of y'all still fucking made mediocre teams. How the fuck do y'all do this? Get your shit together.
It's literally,
I,
oh god, this is gonna be
I'm
horrible.
kidding. Like
You're
I'm
not
not
kidding. You're not
kidding.
kidding.
I'm not kidding. Okay, this is me being harsh. I understand you guys might not be the most adept at this. I know. I think Panda, you're a VGC guy. You're still figuring out the single shit. Completely fine. Nick, we'll get to you in a minute. What the fuck? Tolan, Shy, TP. Again, you guys did all right.
Tolan's like brand
But
new to this.
y'all have some issues. Y'all have some fucking issues with your teams. We'll give some constructive criticism and maybe figure out a way that we can improve your team.
Basically, what he's trying to say is everybody in this call is fine and y'all a bunch of plebes. That's basically what he's trying to say.
Well, we've been doing this for years plural.
Oh, goodness.
And
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while.
I think, yeah, TP is the only other guy who has, I think, probably more than 1 or 2 years of experience doing this shit.
Experience
And
as
everyone
me,
else
actually.
is pretty.
We started in
Yeah,
the same
and
league
so
together.
TP's been doing this as long as TP's been doing this as long as.
And he still
Bill
made
Kidd
this
and myself,
dumbass
and
statement
probably
that I'm
Muffinator.
so willing to roast him on that we're going to get to. We're going to get to.
We'll get there.
But, Muff, you got
But
anything you
the
want to
rest
say
of you
before we get
guys,
started?
the rest of you guys are fairly new, so we won't be too harsh.
Yeah, and you say anything you want to say before we get started, Muff?
Nope. It's just wait.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and kick us off? I know you want to talk about this team, Devin. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off on the number 18?
All right, number 8, Panda. What's up, bro?
The living legend. He is 8. He's last like every time, right?
It's okay, Panda. You're learning. I'll say this: the quality of your teams are getting better, but the problem is that so is everybody else's team. So you're still kind of
For sure. And those
they're
top
getting
two
better.
are big dick swinging. Those top two are big dick swinging.
Yeah, you swinging a massive penis with the Mewtwo and the Tapu Lele. Because goddamn, Mewtwo in Psychic Terrain is terrifying. But then we get down to Deoxys attack would have been better, as what Brandon pointed out, just for terrain
Psycho
purposes. Psycho Boost with that special attack base of 180 in Psychic Terrain.
With still a base 180 physical attack.
Yeah, exactly. But then you go and draft Mega Scizor, good Pokemon, but you can't click Bullet Punch with Tapu Lele on your team. Ever. So you have a technician, you have a base, what is that, 90 power steel move after the math?
That goes first every time.
It goes first, and it's with your massive attack stat of like 145 or something ridiculous like that. But you can't click it because you're in Psychic Terrain. And And then you draft Volcarona, which is another bug type. Now, I love both of these Pokemon. I'm a big fan of bug type Pokemon. It's my favorite type. But on the same team, I disagree with that, especially because you already have two monstrous special attackers. Mewtwo, which has all the coverage. Lele, which is good at clicking buttons and just blowing holes in things. You have Volcarona, which is good at sweeper, sure. And then you have half of a rain team. Not even half. You have a third of a rain team with Kingdra and Pelipper. So you have like nice like 1-2 combos, but nothing really concrete, nothing really that gels together. You have two special attacking walls. I mean special walls in Umbreon and Blissey that do the same exact thing.
With the same
One
weaknesses.
of them clicks foul play. Yeah, same weaknesses. Umbreon has more. One of them clicks Stealth Rocks, the other one clicks Foul Play. That's literally the only difference between the two. And you don't really have any physical defense. Hazard removal, you're limited to Mega Scizor and Pelipper, and I think that's it.
That's it.
That would be it.
And when it comes to hazard setting, you have Blissey and Nidoking. So like hazard-wise, you're hurting. And I feel like you started great, and then the wheels just kind of slowly fell off the bus until it was just completely totaled at the end. But I think, Brandon, you brought up a good point. I don't remember what you said earlier, but some of the changes that you might have recommended, you said something about a Tapu Koko, I think.
Okay, so I said two things. I mentioned the Deoxys thing, but like I was thinking like instead of grabbing, both Volcarona and Xurkitree, you helped you get some more maybe physical bulk, maybe a couple more rockers of different typings that you haven't covered yet. Maybe a little bit less emphasis on the rain. And then you got Coco, but even if you had rain, Coco and rain is dope. So you built yourself a decent rain team, and Scizor is still at full capacity, and now it's looking a lot more threatening with just 3 simple changes of dropping Xurkitree, Volcarona, Lele for Coco, and then fill in the blanks for those other mons. There's so many mons available still. I'm sure you can find something that can work with rain, keep your hazards, at least get another rocker or defogger, and cover some typings you don't have yet. Obviously, don't worry about fire typing, because fire typing's trash, especially on rain teams. You're good there, and you've created a decent thing. But yeah, you really nailed it on the head there, Win.
I will say this, Panda, have fun with this team. Again, this league. Everyone, we're going to roast you. We're going to nitpick at your team. And then we'll say some good things about your team as well, so you don't have to cry. And then we'll give some constructive criticism. Panda, if you like the team the way it is, fucking rock out with it, man. Have fun. If you like the changes you recommend, feel free to take them. Like, seriously. Go for it, man. Have fun, obviously.
I'm too big brother.
We kind of went hard on the Panda.
Yeah, we did.
I kind of went hard on the Panda there.
You did. I'm too big brother with this next team because I love this kid so much, so I would be way too biased. So, Muff, why don't you take a Butter Machine, and then I'll grab Shy Crow. I just spoiled the order, but that's the next two.
Oops.
So why don't you go ahead and grab...
damn it, Brandon.
Shit. No suspense.
We've only done this like 4 times. So why don't
you go ahead and just talk a little bit about Butter? You had a good analysis about it earlier when we were talking. Hello?
That's your cue to start talking, Muffinator.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, sorry, guys. Okay, so we're looking here at Butter Machine's team, and my initial response to this team, what is it trying to do, right? Like, I mean, not every draft team is going to have, like, a specific, function that it's trying to pull off. Like, you've got Panda over here who's working on making a rain team. That's basically what its effect is. There's others that you can notice what they're doing. Won't spoil them because that's for later analysis. But with your team, it's confusing of what exactly you're trying to do. I mean, I'm assuming and I think this is something that Devin and Brandon mentioned, that you're trying to build around Shaman Sky, which makes sense because, this is Ubers, so you want to build around your Uber Pokemon because you don't get the chance to use these mods, especially in draft, almost ever, because just Uber leagues aren't all that common. And so, I mean, overall, it's really, I think, like what Devin said at the beginning, is it's just kind of mediocre, if that makes sense. You have like Shaman's great, amazing. It's got freaking Serene Grace, so you can get them Spadef drops from Seed Flares. You can get flinches from Air Slashes, and so you've got Rotom Wash, great bulky water, a solid electric type, an amazing defogger. It's gonna pressure any rock types that want to try and threaten Shaman Sky and whatever else is out there that Rotom can take out. Oh, flying types. That's what I was thinking. And then, I mean, you have two psychic types, which can sometimes be a problem, but in your case, especially, Mega Gallade, definitely like full offensive psychic type. And then you've got Reniculus too. Well, don't view that as a bad thing, because Reniculus can run bulky psychic very well. You don't have to be, offensive. Other things, like you've got pretty reliable Hazard, which is a good thing to have when you're trying to build around Shaman Sky, right? Because you got Rotom Wash, which can easily run Defog, Fortress, which, rapid span. Plus, that also supports your boy Kiram White down there, because, Ice type doesn't like rocks. You've got just, I guess all I can say is, it's a good team, but like,
Just
yeah,
confused.
Has no direction.
Yeah, but it's not clear what it wants to do. Like, I think you'll do pretty good with it. Like, it's a good team, but it's not quite sure what it wants to achieve other than just win with Shaman Sky on it.
Yeah, I'm a bit, like I said, I'm a big brother of this team. I was there when Nick was drafting these picks. This is my IRL, like one of my best friends. This guy, he definitely, he had a plan, and it looked very different from this one in the beginning. He had a bunch of other things. He was going to get Nidoqueen and other things, but he wanted to change his mind and do other things because he heard that I wanted Nidoqueen. So he's a nice guy and adjusted, and might have adjusted a little too hard for some things. And think of Nick as Cody Parkey in this situation. Cody Parkey got iced so bad. I know none of you get that, except maybe Devin. Like, he got sniped round 1 when Mega Lopunny went. And it totally messed up his mindset throughout the entire draft. Now he's thinking he needs to scramble for speed tiers. He needs to get things. People are talking about certain picks in the draft. So he got a little nervous. I will say I nudged him to start to draft Blacephalon. I definitely recommended that. I don't think I openly said you should draft Kiram White, but I definitely helped him come up with it. And then I was the one who was like, you should also get a grounded poison. So I will say I had some sort of influence for that regard, but really this was Nick trying to take on kind of a different draft, whereas the one in the previous season, Nick and I sat down and pick for pick decided what we were going to get for him, which is why I feel like it went a lot better. But this was Nick trying to go off on his own, and he didn't do terrible, but he definitely has some work to do. He's a bit rusty because he was a Gen 6 player, so he's coming back, and that would be my buddy here, Nick. Do you have anything you want to add, Yewen? Hello? We still on the call? Hello? Okay, I can't hear anyone. Oh, because the voice connection is poor because my internet is trash. Excellent. Okay. Well. Sorry guys, a little technical difficulty here. That's weird. I think my own personal internet just went to shit, which is why this is happening. And I'm unprofessional as shit, so I'm not gonna edit this out. I am sorry, but does look like
might come back.
There
by
we
you there,
go.
but,
Okay.
you know,
They haven't been able to really hear you guys. I
obviously
totally
we'll see.
disconnected.
And Reuniclus can be very good defensively.
They haven't been able to hear any shit you've been saying since I cut out, by the way. Yeah.
All right.
My internet just went to utter shit. It's still kind of bad. Can you guys hear me okay? No. Okay. This is great. This is just awesome. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to set up a hotspot on my phone. This is going so well, guys. I cannot apologize more for what is happening. But I'm going to set up a hotspot on my cellular device. And we are going to connect to that hotspot so we don't have to use this trash Wi-Fi. And hopefully the voice will work just fine still. Okay. Nope, that's not working at all.
What we're going to do is I'll
All right,
talk
so
about a team. You'll go.
Here's what I did. I'm using my hotspot on my phone because my internet just died. But can we hear me okay now?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
sweet.
Are
I
you still
basically
recording?
just went on this long ass spiel about Butter Machine, so they heard it all. And we caught Muffinator's analysis as well.
Yeah. Okay, so you didn't hear anything I said.
No, not at all. So if you would please let people know.
I said defensively. Okay, here we go again. We'll be smoother this time. Defensively, Nika, you're a bit one-dimensional. You do have Fortress, which is a good physical defensive wall. You have Sylveon, which is a good special wall. You have a Uniclus, which can kind of do both because it's got Regenerator access to it. That's a psychic type. And you have Rotom Wash, which can kind of do both as well. But so you've kind of pigeonholed Rotom Wash to kind of be that, catch-22 defensive mod where you're going to be wanting it to be more defensive more often than offensive, which is nothing wrong with that, but it does kind of make you a bit more predictable. I feel like, okay, Rotom Wash will either be Fizz Def or especially defensive this week, probably running Defog. Then whoever you're going up against will have something for Fizz Def and something for a special, and then they'll figure it out from there, Whereas if you're just more offensive and they go to test that and you blow them away, it would probably be better for you. You could still do it, but it might bite you in the ass just because you're eliminating one of the few defensive options that you have by making Rotom offensive that certain week. But otherwise, not terrible of a team.
Mediocre,
Again,
unfortunately. Love you, Nick, but I don't even think he's going to
You've
watch
done
this.
better. You've done better before.
Basically, what I said in my little thing is what happened at ATA was we sat down and picked each individual pick together to go with Victini.
Yeah.
We sat down and we did each one together, and this was him going kind of on his own. So it was a good first start, but he still has stuff to learn. He's a Gen 6 player, so we'll go to Shy Crow now. I'll go ahead and take the lead on this one. Shy, I already spoiled this. I know,
it is your turn.
The worst. Shy, I want you to know that whenever we took this list together, I went ahead and asked Yewin. I said, hey, who do you think is going to be better, Shy or Butter? And Yewin said, Shy because he has Marshadow. Next question. Which is holding true here. It really is. Marshadow Nagandale is a core that Muff likes a lot, but I'm kind of indifferent about, but I'm sure that it'll be all right. It does really complement Marshadow quite well, but I just don't like it next to Mega Guard. I think that they don't break enough separate stuff together. I think Mega Guard is this powerhouse that wants to be put next to a mon like Marshadow, which you did put it next to. But I feel like you kind of ran out on that utility there with Nagandale and Gardevoir. But on one hand, you did draft a pretty good DFS core. DFS core. Sorry, I can't talk. Because Registeel is a pretty good Steel type. You did draft Steel type Snorlax and Snorlax. You did do that, and that's cool or whatever. A
little weird though.
I mainly was kind of looking at the team, and I was seeing a lot of hit or miss. Like, it's either, I mean, a lot of your mods are either going to be destroying things or going to be passive, but a lot of your team just requires setup. You know, a lot of your team requires setup to do well. Marshall's going to do well either way. Usually so is Nagadale, Gardevoir, things like that. But you got like stuff like Lax. Necrozma is not at its best unless it's had some setup moves or got hit with its weakness policy. Raquinet's going to be just fine. Shaman Seed Flares are strong enough, but it still is coming off base 100, which can feel mediocre in Uber's tier type play. Zapdos is pretty good defensively. I do like the way that you paired it with Shaman, because... Actually, no, I don't. I lied to you. I really don't like that. I like the way you paired it with Snorlax, because you got something that's like super weak to fighting, and you drafted one of the better fighting kind of resists in the league. And then for ice punches on strong fighters, Snorlax does have thick fat. So there is that kind of little mind game type of thing you can play there. It is definitely beneficial. I think that this team is a lot like Butters, where it doesn't necessarily have a role, and it's weird at most. But you did draft Webs, which we really did appreciate. It puts you on the higher echelon of things because you drafted Webs for... Who is going ham right now in the background? Oh my goodness. You drafted Webs for... Because you got 2 top-tier speeds, but then your speed tiers kind of fall apart after that. Coming in next is a base 100. Am I wrong? Yeah, it
After
goes...
Marshadow and Magandale?
Yeah, it goes next to a base 100, right?
Yeah, base 1.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
Mega
a
Gardevoir.
big speed gap there.
Mega
And
Gardevoir.
then a lot of similar speed tiers with things like Zapdos and stuff. So I'd say I don't necessarily like that it looks confusing. I don't necessarily like that your wall breakers sometimes do the same thing. Your bulk could synergize a little better, but it's not terrible. It's a little fighting weak, barring Zapdos and things like that.
It's a lot fighting weak.
Not a lot. He's got some resist. He's got like Guard, Necrozma, Zapdos. He got some resist. Nagadale's a resist as well, as frail as that thing is. And an immunity in Marshadow.
Punch.
But yeah, just and Incineroar's weak to fighting as well. I will mention that the way you said, hey, pick me up a 60-point ground type was quite confusing for me. I did not know. I don't really usually like drafting for people, so I did not know what you wanted, but you left, and we're going to be gone for like the next 2 hours, so I went ahead and just picked you up Donphan, and you didn't seem to have any gripes with that. Plus, it helps because you didn't have a lot of
gives you a rapid
this
spinner,
time.
which gives you... Yeah,
So I guess I would say, I didn't even really touch on the hazard removal either. I think that was a little weaker, and I think that the hazard setting...
He does have the 3rd best defogger.
It's just a few different mons, unfortunately. It's just Zapdos. Does Nagadale get defog? I don't even know. I'm not sure. Because right now it's just Zapdos and Donphan,
I'm not sure either. If it does, it's probably not ever going to run defog.
Right. So you got some...
You're going to have to run that magic coat Araquanid.
It does not get defog, though.
Okay, thank you. What I would say you should do if you were going to keep the team is, based on your prep, I would really focus on, unfortunately, pigeonholing Zapdos into a bit of a more defensive variant most weeks, if not all. And I would steer clear of bringing Gardevoir and Necrozma the same week, and I would really just try and exert your presence with Marshadow and put Marshadow in the best environment matchup per matchup for it to do the best that it possibly can.
Which won't be hard.
If you wanted to keep everything, but if you were open to make some trades, I would not keep Necrozma. I would find a different, but I would still like you to keep your rocks. But I would find a different mon for Necrozma. Maybe I would consider changing up my bottom tier so I have a bit more versatile, because Registeel's good, but maybe you want a bit more versatile steel type. But other than that, with the whole Necrozma issue and that, if you could just find some more rockers, you do have some good hazards with webs, but just if you can find some more rockers, fine. Maybe a spinner to complement your webs, because at the moment you're defogging your own webs away. at best case
Well,
scenario.
I would keep the Necrozma. I would say maybe look at Mega Diancie
Instead of Mega Guard. Yeah,
instead
I
of
was
Mega
just thinking the
Gardevoir.
double Psychic was bothering me.
But
But yeah, it's either. And then, Mega Diancie gives you another rocker as well. Mega Diancie's a pretty good rocker. I used to talk crap on that. But MV opened my
yeah,
eyes. Lord MV opened my eyes.
get Magic Bounce so you have protection from hazards.
But yeah, that's my drunken, stabled, I'm not drunk, but a way to very weirdly show you what you should do. Do we have anything to add, fellas?
Now, let's see. You have a lot
not
of
really.
Pokemon that do similar things. Magandal, Gardevoir, both hit special attack.
Hey, I mentioned that.
Yeah. So I just I agree with everything that Brando said over here. Kind of one-dimensional team.
But better than Butters
That's not a
because you
bad
have
thing per
Marshadow.
It really is.
Which I talked him into grabbing, by the way. He didn't know about Marshadow, and I told him about it, and he was like, I want it. I think I had actually a little bit of just a little bit of help in almost everyone's draft. The only one I didn't really help is TP, and a little bit of... Nope, I didn't really help Yaywin either. I guess I helped him decide on Size-Toad or Blastoise. Yeah, I did do that. I did do that.
Running some calcs, yeah.
Go me.
All right. So
Chakro's done. We are on to the next Swedish boy. Is that right?
Yeah, next Swede. Tolan. You were the better
Tolan.
Swede. Good job.
You did it. You're better than
I'm
Shy.
up, right?
You are.
Yeah. This is a good pattern. We'll keep this pattern going.
Because then Muffinator's going to take lead on TP, and I get to talk. Oh, damn it! I'm going to talk about myself. I'll probably just talk about myself. Go ahead. We'll probably all talk about ourselves.
We don't. Spoiler alert, we're not going to talk about ourselves.
Yeah, JK.
Yeah. Tolan, you went with Giratina. You went with the fattest beast you could find. And then you went with Aegislash. You're like, hey, that ghost type, that's pretty cool. I want to do it again. And that defense, it's pretty cool. I want to do it again. Not a bad thing, because Aegislash can just turn that into an attack stat and nuke something.
I think it's a bad
And
thing.
then King Shield right back into the... I know you do, Brandon, but you're going to be eating a shadow ball from that thing, and it's not going to feel good.
How about I just eat it from Giratina, and then we cut out the middleman and get a better steel type for the team? Oh, man.
I'm saying you're not going to take the shadow ball from Aegislash very well.
You don't know me.
You're right, I don't. You had a Manaphy. It's a pretty good water type. Like clicking buttons. I'm assuming Z Rain Dance is why you got it as a Z user, maybe Z Surf, maybe some other tech that it's got that I don't know about because I don't use Manaphy. You got Clefable as a good stealth rocker, good fairy. Doesn't get magic bounce, like some people think. You got an Entei, which, fun fact, has the same attack stat as Nick's Komala over there.
Yeah, it does.
Superior, good grass type. Got that Contrary Leaf Storm to just continually nuke things. Mega Zam, I feel like, was just kind of slapped onto this team.
Like an almost
just
no
kinda
thought
works.
pick.
It's just like, Mega Zam, that's a good Pokemon. I want to use it. But then, so
Yell
all
at
those
him.
Pokemon that you listed above, that I've mentioned so far, are good.
Except
and have a
Aegislash.
place. They're all good. They're all good Pokemon, is what I'm saying.
Yell at him.
Okay.
Yell at him for these last ones. Yell at him.
And then you're like, hey, I want a fighting type.
You can yell. You can yell at him at everything but Garbodor.
Like, yeah, you saw Hitmonlee, and you're like, hey, that's a good Pokemon. And you completely ignored Hitmontop and grabbed Hitmonlee because you're like, I want a fighting type and a rapid spinner. Well, obviously, I want to go with Hitmonlee instead of the Dreidel. Go with the Dreidel. I recommend making that trade because one of them is just significantly better than the other one.
In terms of draft spinning.
Well, it comes with draft spinning. One of them has Intimidate. One of them can run an Assault Vest and just be bulky as fuck.
Yeah.
Hitmonlee has Unburden, so if you want to run like normal gem fake out with the normal gem boost and just be Unburden at that point, you can do that. But I feel like running Rapid Spit on this thing, because hazard removal on this team is not good. You have Giratina, which I believe gets Defog. Hitmonlee, Superior, but that doesn't count, and Minior, which also really doesn't count.
It's not a Pokemon,
So
really.
you have, I mean, Minior's good at clicking Shell Smash.
And potentially sweeping from there.
Probably not
Potentially
still.
sweeping from there.
Probably not still.
But you're still probably not.
Depends on the opponent.
This is a Nomers League, dog. It doesn't depend on the opponent. He's not sweeping with that thing.
So I will
You're
say in
probably
Hitmonlee's defense, the team's physical presence is non-existent without it. It has Aegislash as a
that's
mixed
true.
attacker, and it has Minior, which is
Hold
physical.
on. He's got an Entei.
And
Yeah,
he can do
Right.
physical.
he's got like 3
He can do
other
physical.
mons that are physical
Just-
and do it well.
Yeah.
So
You have Rhydon, which
you
is
know
a
what,
good
and
stealth
then
rocker.
the Goat Garbodor. I'm sorry, my
And
bad.
you have Garbodor. You have the giant trash bag for toxic spikes purposes and absorbing your opponent's toxic spikes.
Hey, and regular spikes.
Outside of you don't absorb regular spikes.
No, he gets regular spikes. Garbodor gets regular spikes.
Yeah, it gets both.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Okay.
It's a spiker. Normally, if you get toxic spikes, you get regular spikes. Normally. I think toxic spikes might be the exception to that.
Tentacruel's also the exception.
Yeah, if you're a water poison type, you're the exception to the spikes, toxic spikes thing. Because you've got a decent team. You've got good bulk. You've got good hazard setting. You've got Giratina to get rid of hazards, and Hitmonlee to get rid of hazards. If you want to go with a better steel type, it's a monster. Pick up Genesect. Just drop the Aegislash and pick up Genesect, dog. He's right there. Or Mega, or like not Mega Mawile, because you would have to get rid of Mega Zam. But if you wanted to, you could. Yeah, Genesect. I feel like would just be fantastic on this team. You open up your coverage. I don't think you have a bug. Take
Yeah,
no
I was just
boost.
looking. No bug.
Yeah. Yeah, you get some setup with it. Good mon. I recommend, because right now you get murdered by an offensive ghost type. Absolutely. Like Marshadow is gonna eat your fucking lunch.
Why is lunch?
Buckle up for that.
Why not his
Because
dinner or his
he's not gonna see
breakfast?
him. He's not gonna like he's not gonna like stalk him to his house. Blacephalon's gonna have a field day with your team too, Tolan. So just be prepared for that. I know it's probably obvious and you knew this, but I'm just letting you know. Like an offensive ghost
I don't
type rips this
Tolan-
team to shreds.
Tolan's pretty new.
Pick up a dark type. You know.
Oh, I'd like to also point out that this team and Shy's team did not have. Wait, we said Shy didn't have a dark
Shy's
type, but
team
Shy
has a
has
dark type.
Incineroar.
No,
We
no, that's
said
not
it.
who we said has dark type. The next person.
The next
person.
I'm high.
And has a dark type. Butter Machine and Shakro all have a dark type. But the
I'm
middle
retarded. I'm
two
retarded.
picks don't have dark types. I find that weird.
Yeah, like we rated you
Your team
higher
has-
than them,
your
and
team's got
I hold dark types to a very high regard. So I find it weird that
It's weird, but the other teams kind of lack direction. That's kind of this one. You can kind of like you've got good hazard removal. You have good hazard setting. Get rid of the Aegislash. You don't need it. Pick up Genesect. That's my recommendation. If you want to rock out with Aegislash, by all means, go for it and have fun with it because it's fun to use. But yeah, there's not a lot I can say about this team other than just Hitmonlee. When Hitmontop was there, I think is strange. No dark type, and Aegislash should be replaced by Genesect. And I think you have a really, really, really good team here. Right now, it's just a good team.
Certainly not the best though.
No.
He messaged us and he said he thinks he has the best team. All right.
You did, and while I appreciate the chutzpah, you're a bit off.
So let's
your
go
analysis,
ahead
but
and
again-
talk about this boy TP's team and rip him a new asshole, as well as tell him he did a good job, because I have some stuff to say.
All right, well, we're going to let Muffinator take the lead on this one because it is his turn. And this way we're not talking about our own teams, which, if you didn't notice, we don't mean to be assholes. We don't mean to seem that we're better than you by having ourselves ranked in the top 3. I'm sorry.
Hey, honestly,
guys
you're the
kinda
only
did the-
one. You're the only one with moral high ground, because everybody and their mother in this server, barring Tolan, thinks you have the best team. So you're fine. It's me and Muffin that are really feeling like,
Yeah. Fair.
So I got some funny stuff to say about TP. So let's go ahead and get this started, Muffin.
But go
Okay.
ahead, Muffinator, you go for it.
TP, before Ill Kid swoops in and attacks you, I'll give you some stuff. So we're first looking at your Uber and your S tier, basically. Both really good. Mega Metagross. Amazing
Good
mom.
God.
He's so good. Steel Psychic. Get that agility up. It's good. What more can I say?
I can see your boner from here, Muff.
Forgive me. And then after that, you have Pheromosa, which godly.
I love this thing.
Just crazy offensive sets. I mean, its defense is trash, but that's not why it's here. It gets rapid spin, which is like sweet.
It's your best
and
spin.
it has. It also just has really good coverage. But just one real quick thing is, was a big missed opportunity here. So a common core in drafts is an offensive core of Dark, Fighting, Psychic. You have your Psychic in Metagross, you have your Fighting in Pharaoh, and I saw those two and I was like, please tell me he has a Dark. It's not here. And I'm not entirely sure at this current moment in time who you would potentially swap out for your Dark, but if you find a way to squeeze a Dark into this team, I think that will honestly boost it up a bit. Like,
Drop the Archeops.
Dude, no, that's his best defogger and his best stealth rocker. Get out of here.
But yeah, really, really good first picks. And then you have Zygarde, another amazing mon. I'm one thing I have to say about this draft in general, I'm surprised only one of the Zygardes was drafted. When there's 3 of them.
When there's father.
I was expecting at least 2, honestly. The one I wasn't expecting was the dog, but we didn't even get the Titan. So we just got the Sneck. We always get the Sneck though. And then you've got a great grass type and a Moongus. Regenerator is always fun. I can attest to that. Zeraora, great fast electric.
I fucking love that thing.
Another electric type I wanted but did not get.
Damn.
Arcanine, great bulky fire. Also can be offensive if you really want it to. It's got E-Speed, which is a very nice priority move. Swampert, a great bulky water, also a very good ground. If you're feeling fancy, wait 1 second before I say this. Oh yeah, it's a really good rocker. You can roar stuff out if you want to. I really like Swamp. It's a good bulky water, and I'm trying to think. Does it have a certain move before I say this? Scrolling through, yes, it does. If you ever feel like completely turning the tables on someone, bring Rindoberry Mirrorcoat. Fun stuff.
Really
Next up, we have
the best mom.
We have Archeops, which it's Archeops. I honestly don't really know anything about this thing. It gets rocked. It gets defog apparently.
You sleeping? That's base 150 attack. You sleeping?
It's got it honestly has some really good stats like offensively, but What?
But
Doesn't
then
its ability like hurt it
50%.
or something?
Yeah, the fetus, once you get it below 50% HP, its offensive stats get cut in half.
Oh my gosh! Like if our this thing just doesn't have it's Regigigas. Anyways, Silvally, I mean, it's a good mon. Like it has a lot of versatility. I mean, base 95 stats is not bad. That's only 5 less than all the pixies. It's get defog. It's got parting shot, which is a really good pivot
Saucy.
move. And I mean, you can run whatever type. I guess you could run Dark
Moff, I
Silvally
found
if
his
you
dark
want.
type. I was gonna say Moff, I found his dark type.
Yeah, Dark Silvally. I mean, I guess.
No,
but
if you run Dark Silvally TP, I'm going to punch you in the scrotum. That's the waste of a Silvally.
But yeah, Togekiss, another defogger, another Serene Grace flincher, one of the free that's been drafted.
Fuck you and your Serene Grace TP. I swear to God, if you flinch hacks another win off of me, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
And then we have Dusclops, which
quite a confusing mon. This Dusclops. For me, anyway.
I mean, Dusclops in general is honestly just really good. Fat freaking Eviolite. Even once you knock off its Eviolite, the thing still refuses to die.
It's still got base 130 defense.
it's fat. Like it's a good mon, and it always gives me headaches no matter what I do. But I mean, overall, like you have a really pretty dang solid team. I mean, I personally I might place it higher than where I am currently. That's me though, not the other two. But like, I mean, really, if you get a dark type though, like dropping Archeops or probably Silvally, one of those two, honestly.
Drop Archeops, pick up Zoroark. Problem solved.
Yeah, Zoroark, like
it's in the same tier.
There's still some good dark types out there that would help. That's my recommendations here. I guess
illusion shenanigans would be really fun.
Z move users. I don't think we've really talked about Z moves, but good
trust
Z
people to make smart. Like everyone's made decent decisions with their Z
they've all been pretty smart decisions. I haven't really seen any Z moves that I'm.
Everybody's made their best choice they could.
Yeah, but yeah. That's my input. I mean, I really pretty much like this team. If it gets a dark type, I'm telling you. It's going to do a lot better.
What we didn't like is this team has 2 fucking stealth rockers.
You have 2. Yeah, you have. Well, technically, you have 3, but you have 2.
Swear to God, if you ever bring stealth rock Mega Metagross, you have a problem in your head. All right. Good old TP. I'm not going to get to talk about this whenever it's my turn, so I definitely want to get this out of the way. I definitely want to get this thought into the air just so you know exactly how I feel. Because I didn't type this in message. I want you to know I typed thanks back. But whenever we asked you guys to go ahead and give us a little bit of an estimate on the teams, he mentioned on my team 2 flaws that made it not the best team I've ever drafted. The Alolan Ninetales thing, which these guys are going to cover for me. Not even going to touch on that. These guys already got me on that one. And the whole thing, he told me that my team sucks because I don't have a fire type. Now, this has got to be one of the most absolutely troglodyte shit that I've ever heard in my entire life about Draft League for somebody who's been doing this for as long as I have. Public service announcement, people, you do not need a fire type. In no Draft League is it required that you need to pick up a fire type. Water grass cores exist and are more common. It is more common to hate fire types than to like them. You have Mega Charizard extra. You have Victini, yes. You have, like, Incineroar. There are reasons to draft fire types, not reasons to draft the fire typing. Yeah, Arcanine's pretty good, too.
Reason to draft one.
Arcanine's pretty good, too. Arcanine's pretty good doggo. But Entei's not required. Entei's overrated. Entei is so overrated. That boy's got the same attack stat as Kumala. Get out of here. Go take a walk, Entei. Go take a walk. But nah, fire types are a bit weaker in draft. In all seriousness, fire types are a bit weaker in draft, which is why you do not see one on my team that you guys will talk about in a little bit. But I just definitely wanted TP to know that I'm going to eat his ass with my non-fire type team when that comes around. For the 4th time, it's 4-1. That's going to be 4-1 at this point, TP. Is that right? 4-1? Sounds about right. All right, I'm done.
As you can tell, TP, he was a little salty about that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's all good.
But well, actually, I mean, you have one reliable stealth rocker in Swampert. If you want to count Archeops, I will give it
You
to you.
definitely should. You definitely should. Archeops is the best.
I will grit my teeth, but I will still give it to you as a
He's the
stealth
best
rocker.
Pokemon.
Archeops can work.
It can, but it's not clicking stealth rocks. You probably
Yo,
pick
he's
like
gonna roost back up above Defeatus and then shit on your mother. It's gonna be easy
With
for
a
him.
head smash.
Yeah, I do recommend just getting rid of the Archeops altogether and like picking up a dark type like Sororic maybe or Pangoro even.
You really do got to find another rocker,
It could
though,
be
dude.
pretty decent. But I mean, you're very close. I thought Zygarde. I think Zygarde surprisingly doesn't get rocks. And I was like, oh shit.
I like his strength of Volt
But,
Turn,
yeah.
though. I like how well he deals with Volt Turn,
Yeah.
though. Look at all these resist immunities, like Rocky
I know.
Helmet potential
No,
users.
You have 2 immunities, 3 immunities to electric, so that's good.
Good U-turn resists, good Rocky Helmet users. Really good stuff.
Yeah. So like you've done well in that regard, like just dealing with pivots and stuff like pivoting moves like that. You've answered those very well.
Not like poor Shy's team who gets shit on by Volturn. All right, what's up, Muff? You're next. I think it's either you or me that's taking the lead on this one.
Brandon. Yeah, it's your
I'll
turn,
just
Brandon.
be silent for this.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Like the
You're up,
team we're
Brandon.
covering. The team we're covering is what I meant to say.
Yeah. You're up, Brandon, because
all
Muff
right, what's
did
good,
TP.
everybody? All right, so Muffinator. These are the top 3. We just so happen to be in this call, but in Muff's defense, we put him at 3rd before we invited him. And a lot of this was based on the results that you gave us. Tolan thought I had the best team. Thanks, Tolan. Oh, no, sorry, behind himself.
No, he thought he had the best team.
Behind himself.
He thought he had the best team.
Behind himself, I apologize. All right, but we got 2 very strong picks straight off the gate. We got the beefiest Greninja, the one that eats the most protein shakes. Protein Greninja. And then...
That was bad.
Speaking of... you don't tell me how to live my life, Devin. Speaking of which, then we have Dialga next. This really strong basis, this really strong beginning, and the makings to a really nice Dialga team. Now, I want you to know, disclaimer here, Muffinator had a potential of having one of the better team, one of the best, probably maybe the best team, but this poor boy got sniped like 7 times. I will mention
At
this.
least.
His next pick was supposed to be Zapdos, and then Shy's limp dick ass decided that Zapdos was better for his team. I agree with Shy, but still, fuck you. He tries to build this nice little regen core. He talked about grabbing Mamoswine, and then when he found out he sniped Shy, he was so happy about it. And now, he's trying to seek for this Electrotype. He keeps getting these Electrotypes stolen from him. He thought about grabbing Rotom Wash. He thought about grabbing Zeraora. He thought about grabbing, gosh, what else was it?
Rotom Heat.
Rotom Heat. Yeah, he thought about grabbing some of these Electrotypes, and they just kept getting taken from him. Now, I feel the same way about Electrotypes as I do Fire types, just not as strongly. But you see, I have one as well. I definitely see the usage of an Electrotype, and I see wanting one on a team that coupled with a fighting resist on a team that has a, Greninja and Dialga, which has that kind of fighting weakness. And I will say, unfortunately, that does plague the rest of his draft. He didn't really pick up a true fighting resist until about Tornadus, which still doesn't take well, close combats with that only having base, 75 defense. And then coupled with Slurpuff as well, and then an immunity with Delmise. It was patched. I wouldn't say completely fixed, but definitely patched.
Another
and then
resist
Mega Heracross as well. So I wouldn't say completely negated, but still patched and a bit better. At first, I want you to know I could not stand that you put Dialga next to Jirachi. I did not see the usage of it. Still having a hard time, but I do see a bit more of a merit as they can perform different roles. Dialga's a bit more like that wall breaker type of dude, and Jirachi's like helping the team type of dude. So it's a little bit better. Ditto is an amazing pickup for a league like this because we have these Ubers here with these crazy stats, and a lot of these Ubers like to set up moves. My own Mega Lucario is very scared of this for week 1. I will go ahead and mention that it's going to be hard for it's going to be damn near impossible for me to get up sword stances because this Ditto is going to take all my sword stances, slap a choice scarf on himself, and 6-0 my team. So we have to be very careful of things like these. People like the Giratina team, well, not necessarily the Giratina, because like bulkier mons Ditto doesn't do well against because Ditto doesn't copy the HP stat of those mons, just copies the other stats. But you know, you're gonna be like Choice Scarf Tapu Lele or Choice Scarf Mewtwo coming on this team
Good
with Psychic
God.
Terrain already up.
Holy shit.
Nice Unburden with Slurpuff for that low tier potential because it's one of those things where people will tend to underplay it. People will tend to underplay Slurpuff because they'll be looking at Dialga, Greninja. They'll be worried about getting, you know, these big hitters, and you totally forget this team has a bit of a sweeping aspect to it too. Whereas Slurpuff, let's see, Slurpuff.
This little cupcake comes in and clicks belly drum and just 6-0s your team afterwards.
Yeah, and if it doesn't do that, it just puts up webs and lets other things do that. So what would I say is unfortunately flawed on this team is I don't necessarily like the hazard removal all that well. It's got 3 different mons. I'm sorry, and Slurpuff doesn't mind running defog nowadays. Tornadus, Therian, defog is great, and then Delmi is pretty much one of the only reasons why you draft that damn thing is for Rapid Spin, but it still has a base 131 attack stat, which is pretty decent. And then I really like
Rapid Spin's gonna hurt.
I think Mega Heracross does look kind of cute on this team because it's just a super strong physical wall breaker for a team that didn't really have that presence before. It had Mamo, and Jirachi can be both, Dialga can be both. But it's really nice to know that he got that like base 180 attack stat on his team in a Mega. And it's such a low tier Mega that he got to pick last. He got to put that off very late. So drafting wise, it was very intelligent. And overall, you just find this team that you're trying to decide if you want to pressure it with just pure offense or if you want to sweep it or what. You can't sweep because of Ditto, so you find yourself having to find creative ways to get around certain checks, and not all teams are going to have the flexibility to do something like that, especially not these teams. Sorry, guys. But that's my take on it. What you got to say, Devin?
I agree that Dialga Jirachi doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's okay. It's okay. You got hazard setting for days. You've got an electric/water immunity in the same Pokemon, depending on what you want to run that week.
Good Volt turn.
Yeah, good Volt turn throughout the team. Good anti-sweeper. Good sweeper yourself as well. I mean, if your hazard removal was better, this team would be a lot better. Again, I would recommend finding something other than Jirachi. Maybe, unless you really want to have those base 100 wishes be passed around.
So, do we want to let the coach do we want to let Muffin give his thoughts on his team and just kind of tell us about what his own team
absolutely.
is? Yeah, okay. So we'll leave that for last. Go ahead.
Got him here.
Tell us about what's up.
Okay,
you know better than anyone.
So
tell us about your team.
What ended up going down with this team? Its original conception was very, very different, but due to all of the snipes, it died very early. Yeah, Jirachi looks really weird here, and I very much agree because Jirachi was a panic pick. This was the slot meant for a Mew or a Zapdos. Neither of those were available, and I was like, freak, what do I want? And I'm like, I like Wish stuff. What has Wish that's high-ish tier? Oh, look, a Jirachi. Ironhead Serene Grace. Base 100 stats. Why the frick not? That is Jirachi's one and only reason for being here, is honestly just wishing and potential shenanigans. Like, honestly, if I end up, I don't generally use free agency trades too often, but here, if I'm going to use one, it'll be Jirachi who's getting thrown out to go live somewhere else. But overall, what I end up going for is another thing that I do like about Jirachi, though, and something I was trying to really do is get a lot of ways to pivot. One, because pivoting, in my opinion, is quite good in Ubers, and also because I wanted to make a regen core that could really benefit from the pivots, because I can just easily swap in with my with my stuff. I originally was thinking getting Tangrowth with a regen water, but it ended up not, like, it could have worked, but at the same time it didn't quite seem right, because I was looking a lot at like Slowbro and Slowking and even the fish, but they just didn't quite fit the way I wanted them to. But what I just ended up making was really something that would help Dialga be Dialga, because he is the best Uber boy that I like. I mean, obviously, if I could have gotten Marshadow or Lucario, I would have thrown Dialga out the window, but I got 7th pick, so that was not happening. So I went with my trusty favorite legendary, Dialga, who has everything except setup. That's not a thing on Dialga. But yeah, that's really just what I ended up doing. Slurpuffs. I mean, this team is, I think, one thing that I also actually, I'm not going to say that. No, never mind. Yeah, like definitely very different from my original plan, but it worked out for the most part.
I recommend you do, actually. I mean, you mentioned that you want to have somebody that can pass wishes. You don't need Lantern. I recommend going with Alamomola because A, fat wishes regenerator. And then instead of Jirachi, pick up like maybe a Victini or like Hoopa Unbound.
Well, it seems like he wants Volt Turn, so it seems like he wants an electric.
Yeah, I know, but
Thundy T? No,
definitely things to think about. That's for sure.
Definitely things to think about for sure, indeed.
Still hit top 3 though.
I mean,
still hit top 3 though.
Yeah, still top 3. All right.
Is it my turn already?
Talk about your team. No, it's not your turn. You just talked about Muffinator's team.
My God, it is my turn because we're talking about my team.
Yeah, it's your turn. I'm talking about it. All right, so you have a Mega Lucario and you have a Deoxys Speed, and it's pretty good. You have a good lead to just set up any hazard you'd like to, or taunt something, or nuke something with Psycho Boost. Really take your pick. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. You have a Mega Lucario there, which is like, let me just look at the entire league, and you're all dead. You're all dead. Everyone's dead. Yep. It's kind of how Mega Lucario works.
Very much.
Yeah. And the Marshallow's just standing off in the corner like, click Swords Dance. I fucking dare you.
Bet you won't.
Bet you won't, motherfucker. And you're right, he won't. You get a Hydreigon there, which that's a spoopy mon. That thing hits like a goddamn truck. You have Thundurus, good shit. You got a nice Defiant user there. You have Nidoqueen. Yeah, I'm obviously I'm partial to the Kang, but Nidoqueen, great mon. Milotic, another fat mon. Annoyingly fat.
Very fat. Slap a Flame Orb.
Now, slap a Flame Orb on that bitch.
With Marvel Scale. Oh boy.
God. I'll tell you what though. You can bust out the tech. You can bust on that competitive tech, man. Don't sleep on it. It's worked before.
Yeah, I've got. I'll talk about it.
Yeah. Then you get this Alolan Ninetales. Now, for those who don't understand
the most controversial
purpose of this Alolan Ninetales, Okay, he doesn't have any ice types on his team to benefit from this. Well, sure. Hale's going to be chipping away at his team. But there's this lovely move called Aurora Veil, which says, fuck you and any damage you want to do to my team. So I really feel like the trade-off there is quite good. I'll take a little bit of chip and then take -7 from any attack you try to throw at my Pokemon for the next 8 turns because I'm holding Light Clay. It's basically what the purpose of Alolan Ninetales is on this team. Oh, and Blizzard is 100% accurate and more powerful. Have fun with that. He's got hazards down here in Aerodactyl and Defog in Aerodactyl. He's got a lovely, lovely turn 1 nuke if he so pleases with Selgor, or he can set up more spikes with it. He's got a fat fucking cow named Miltank, which can set up rocks, click Heal Bell, click fucking Miltank. You're never going to kill the bastard. I'm sorry. Give up now.
That's my
And you got
last pick,
Decidueye,
bro.
which is just a fun. Yeah, you have a lovely little Decidueye there as well. So it's offensively, this team is very good. It's a team I would draft, but I didn't draft this team. But it is a hyper offensive team, which is how I normally play in most draft leagues. So I love this team. It's very, very fun. It looks like a grand old time. You have my only gripe with it is that, like, just on the bulky side of things, I think like you've got Milotic, which is good. Nidoqueen is pretty decent. It doesn't want to take any sort of ice type move though. And Miltank, which definitely helps counterbalance that. I think what Miltank is especially defensive. Is that right?
105 special defense and like
Nidoqueen's kind of mixed.
yeah.
Yeah, Nidoqueen's in the middle of there, but like Miltank's more especially defensive. So I think you have what three fatties. Is that right?
Yeah, and
Three
Decidueye can
kind of
sometimes
hit
be
walls.
fat, kind of fat, not super fat though.
Three walls.
Yeah,
Unless
3 real
Decidueye, which
walls.
has some decent bulk.
Decidueye is like a pseudo wall, if it wants to be.
Okay. Yeah, not bad. That's good for a hyper offensive team. That is very good for a hyper offensive team, especially the amount of hazard stacking you have. Hazard removal is a bit lackluster, but that's about it, really. Muff, I'll let you put in your 2 cents here.
Okay, yeah, I have a few things to say about this team. I mean, overall, it's a good team. Like, hands down, deserves to be in the top 3 for sure. It's a very good team. But first off, one thing to point out is this team is just, it's so freaking fast. His lowest mon is Decidueye at base 70. It doesn't go lower than that. And then it hits all the way at the top at 180, followed by 6 other mons that are above 100 base speed or at 100 base speed in the case of the cow, which, by the way, why is the cow that fast? But regardless.
You ever see the cow move? Fucking speedy fuckers, man.
I've seen a bull move. But yeah, this team is just, it's so fast, which brings up something that I kind of noticed is Trick Room. Like, Trick Room's kind of going to mess this team up if it gets set up. Which brings me to my own counterpoint to my own weakness of this team is his taunters are just kind of godly. Deoxys speed, it's going to taunt you no matter what you say. I'm sorry, unless you're a prankster,
Like
you're not. Yeah, like Thundurus, which he has, you're getting taunt. Next taunter, Thundurus. You literally can't beat that taunt right there. Aerodactyl, another really fast taunter. I'm pretty sure it gets taunt too.
It does.
Like, because a play you might want to try against this team is immediately set up Trick Room as soon as possible. Except good luck because of just how fast all of his taunters are. And then also, another thing to point out, even Nidoqueen gets taunt. It's not a fast taunt, but I mean, it's still there.
It is a finger waggle, nonetheless.
Another thing that this team kind of brings it to its how offensive it is. Due to the nature of how offensive the team is, obviously its defensive backbone is going to be lackluster, right? Because you're going so offensively that you don't have the same defense that everyone else is going to have, like Yewin said. But if you look at this lovely ice fairy fox thing named Alolan Ninetales, these relatively, they're not necessarily squishy, but they're definitely not tanky either, like Mega Lucario, Deoxys Speed.
Deoxys Speed is squishy.
It is pretty. Yeah, okay, that one is squishy, but like Mega Lucario is not super squishy. I mean, if you hit it hard enough, it's gonna die, obviously. But then Miss Ninetales here, like, sorry, I assumed it's gender, but anyways,
How dare you?
it's gonna come in, set up an Aurora Veil, and suddenly Lucario is not dying. It's not. It doesn't care what you have to say. It's not going to die. What?
Deoxys Speed will still probably die.
Oh, yeah. Deoxys Speed will probably still die. Let's be honest.
Pheromosa's Rapid Spin will kill it.
But everything else on his team that was still not super tanky suddenly has become tanky enough that you aren't going to kill it. And your momentum you may have gained from killing one of these super offensive bonds is just gone because Alolan Ninetales has an 8-turn double screen that says, I don't care if you want to deal damage, it's not happening. Just...
And God help you if he sets up regular screens along with Aurora Veil. God help you.
Yeah, if that happens, just
click X. That's all.
You might want to forfeit at that point. I don't know.
Your next move is that little X button in the top right corner.
just click it. Just be done. But yeah. Also, another thing, I guess I should say real quick. I am a sucker again for dark psychic fighting cores, which Ilkid here has a very nice one. I can only imagine the pain and suffering that would come from a focus sash, speed, clicking nasty plot, and then doing a double psycho boost. Then obviously we've already discussed.
Two of them.
Yeah, he's getting two.
With the first one.
Unless you got priority, he's getting two. That's also assuming you knocked him down before. And then Hydreigon. Yeah, just overall, it's a scary team.
You might have an answer for one thing, but you don't have an answer for Mega Lucario.
You didn't even say everything, you just said Mega Lucario.
I mean, what else should you worry about?
You can have an answer for everything else on this team, and Mega Lucario will just say, that's cute.
Oh, I guess another thing even his defensive, we've already touched on this for the most part, have offensive capabilities.
Yeah, like
Nidoqueen's
sheer force.
Melodic could be competitive, plus it already has a pretty good special attack stat. Decidueye can Swords Dance. And I'm just putting this out there. Block, curse, Miltank.
Yeah,
have fun. Yeah, that's what I got.
Jolly Willikers, is it my turn now?
Alright, talk about your own team.
Woo, love this. Okay, I will go ahead and get a thing that I just kind of thought about this, but I've been thinking about it out of the way. I can see my team going up a bit more rating-wise if I picked up Deoxys Defense instead of Deoxys Speed. I was kind of thinking about that before this started. Also, I'd like to mention that Muffinator missed out on one of my taunters. High Dragon is a taunter.
What
so
is?
I mean, it's a taunter, but
Why would it run?
he was talking about he's talking about like fast taunters is what he was talking about.
Because I run.
I mean, High
I-
Dragon is decently fast.
and I've been known to run bulky Hydra in the past and be able to tank some pretty decent hits. But that'll have to come from week to week, and yeah, I mean, in Ubers, it's going to be kind of harder for me to do that, but we'll see what we can do. Basically, the route that I decided to go about midway through this draft is I wanted to go ahead and draft screens offense plus hazards. As you can tell, I have drafted screen offense plus hazards. The whole conversation with Deoxys speed and Deoxys defense is to be there. But
I'd ask where are your webs, but your team's so fast it doesn't fucking matter.
No, it does not. I'm outspeeding things anyway. I'm outspeeding. If webs are on my side of the field, I'm still outspeeding mons. So what I also
Webs won't save you.
I wanted to kind of touch on each of the points. We've already talked about the generalistics of my team, but I do want to mention a very concrete fact throughout the entire draft and the entire team playing. I really based it on my top 4. I really wanted to mention Thunderous in that offensive core. I believe my top 4 is the most offensive core in this draft. I do believe that there is not a switch into any of these consistent 4 mons per week. One of those 4 is going to be your threat, basically. One of those 4. I mean, 9 times out of 10 is going to be Mega Lucario, but maybe on some weeks it's going to be Mega Lucario plus Deoxys Speed, or maybe other one's going to be Mega Lucario plus Thunderous, or it's going to be all 4 of them just butt fucking your team. It's going to be something. But those 4 are going to be involved in that matter. The rest of these were just kind of supporting. No condom. No, we're not pussies. The rest of these were just kind of supporting those 4. I feel like I really hit that home run with Ninetales because Ninetales provides these things with more of a bulkier presence. And you may sit there and tell yourself that I'm getting chipped away from hail, but you understand you're getting chipped away from hail too, right? Like both sides are taking that same damage, so it evens out the playing field a bit when you're also taking that damage because you're probably not going to have your ice type out versus this mod since I resist most of your stabs. Unless your name's... Well, even Kieran Black doesn't necessarily want to switch in on me, so I don't know. I guess what I also wanted to say with I wanted to say a little bit of a got me on the trick room thing. Got me on the little trick room thing. I will say it's a bit scarier, but I will also say that I'm not too terribly afraid of it because of that.
Because I think Shycrow is the only one who could run that effectively.
Well, I like to kind of speak on teams in a generalistic perspective. Let's pretend like I am going against a good trick roomer, even though it's not necessarily on the draft board. Let's pretend like I am going against a decent trick roomer because you never know in draft. I mean, you could have a little pan over here about trick room Mewtwo and just whoa, bro, that's weird. But I like that you're just taking so much damage. Either I'm taunting you or you're just taking a ton of damage on that turn that you want to trick room, and that is why I picked up the Great Wall of Milotic, because this mon is not broken easily, if ever, and there's
I'm
just
going to stop you right there.
You did not draft the Great Wall. You drafted a good wall.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for that.
I just want to point out the Great Wall is on a team.
All right. And I really just wanted to make sure that people realize that whenever they wanted to do something, defog, set up trick room, go for their own hazards, there are risks to be taken with a team of my caliber. There are risks to be taken. You are taking major damage. You are giving me initiative on a good switch in. You are giving me something every turn that you think that you're not going for an offensive move. You're giving me something. And that's what I really appreciate about this team. I have 2 different ways to abuse defog on my team with Thunderous and Milotic. I have a spin blocker with Decidueye, which counters most ground types that get rapid spin, or rock types that get rapid spin. There's definitely others. And then I just wanted to round it all out with a decent cleric. That was really Muffin's idea, if I have to be honest. Thank you, Muffin. Thank you, Muffin. And now that I paired this thing with screens, now the trick room that you think that you're applying to me, I have a screens Milotic in front of you, and you're just doing 20% to it each turn. It's stalling you out with things like Toxic and Recover, stalling out those trick room turns, giving me the advantage again so I can taunt you, and I can hit you again. So that would be the idea of this team. I think in practice it's going to look up a lot better than on paper. I think I'm just going to scare too many people in matchups. I can see why it would be ridiculed on paper, but it's y'all bad, so what's good? I'm about to destroy you. All right, let's talk about the best team now. I guess
You're up first.
Mr. Ye Win here, the only man who probably went into this draft without a goddamn plan, maybe other than TP. But even TP was planning things. This man did not give a fuck round per round what he had on his team. He was at work half the time he was drafting these things.
It was. What?
And threw together the best team in the league, because that's how it works. When you care the least, you get the best team.
You're up first?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I'm starting this out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it on home.
Yeah. I love this team a little too much, to be completely honest with you guys. This.
He wrote an analysis on the team and a thesis on mine, and by the end of reading his, he's basically giving this team the fattest, sloppiest job you can imagine.
You're cutting out pretty bad for me, but as for the people at home, he basically said that Muffinator wrote a thesis on our teams. Never asked him to talk about it, and he wrote it pretty long for both of us. And he told me I was good, but he sucked off Devin's team until it came. So
Yeah. So I guess I'll start out here. So I first straight out the gate see Ye Win draft Megalopody in an Ubers league, which, I mean, that seems a little bit weird at first, but at the same time, it's kind of a good strategy if nobody else thinks of it. I was wanting to do the same thing, but then Ye Win scared me, so I didn't do it because he drafted Megalopody. But overall, you'll see once I start talking about these two Ubers, or I guess Uber and S tier, that it really worked out very well for him. So he first picks up Megalopody, absolute god of a physical attacker, fighting normal combo. You just kind of die for the most part. I don't think there's any typing in the entire game other than Ghost that is able to take both of them. I mean, Ghost can, but
dude, I'm scrappy. You forget.
Oh, right. I remember now why that is so good. Yeah, I would say Ghost is the only one, but again, Lopady's got Scrappy, so you actually don't have literally anything to save you from this monstrosity of a bunny. And then he moves on. He picks up Ferroforin, which is Ferroforin. Really good steel type, a solid grass type, gives you spikes, gives you a gyro ball that hits like a truck. I mean, its only weakness is 4 times weak to fire, but that's possible to get around. And then he goes and picks up Mew, arguably the best Pokemon in draft format, just due to its move pool and very, very, very balanced stats. Next up, we have Florges, great special wall, an amazing cleric. Just dodge those physical moves. Rotom Heat, doesn't care about his 4 times weakness unless it's Mold Breaker or, Zygarde. Zygarde. Great, potentially defensive mod. It can do really good as offensive too. Just another great being. Gliscor, a great ground type. Toxic Orb with Toxic Heal makes it such a pain to break when comboed with Roost. It's a great Stealth Rocker, great Defogger. It gets U-turn also, so it can momentum out. Galvantula, you got webs now. that electric stab is great. That bug typing helps a lot because it's no longer weak to electric, and also the bug typing just seems to help. Plus, there's compound eyes, so you can actually run Thunder instead of Thunderbolt if you so please. And then he's got, yeah, Yewen, he drafts Galvantula a lot from what I've seen. Blastoise, super fat water type. It's got Rapid Spin, which is just very nice, very good to have. And then you get down to Kieran Black, who has a godly attack stat. Just a shame he can't really use it. I mean, he can. Just he doesn't have an ice stab. He's got the outrage though, and he's probably has a few other moves. But that special attack stat,
that raw freeze shock.
Yeah, Z freeze shock. You die.
No,
you just
I didn't
die.
say that. I don't think I'm clicking raw freeze shock. Do you?
Yeah. Power herb freeze shock, guys. Let's do it. I think that's how power herbs works, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
If I'm wrong, ignore me. If I'm right, then don't ignore me. But back to Kieran Black's special attack stat. It is nothing to scoff at. It is, I don't know its exact number, but it is very, very high because most of the time you're running special Kieran Black with Earth Power, Ice Beam. I think he gets Flash Cannon, probably some other stuff. And then we get down to his higher tier mods. He's got Battle Bond Greninja, which, I mean, before it's Battle Bond, it's just a Greninja. But the moment that thing evolves or form changes, you suddenly have a mixed attacker that makes you want to click that X button up in the corner. Then you have freaking Lugia. Why does this thing exist? Why did Gen 5 have to give this thing multi-scale? Psychic Flying is already a pretty good defensive typing, at least in my opinion. And then this thing's already got 109 base HP, 130 defense, and then 154 special defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw multi-scale, so you can't. I mean, you aren't going to one-shot it anyway, even without multi-scale. But and then I guess
110 speed on Lugia too. He's pretty quick.
Yeah. And then overall, I mean, Fairy Dragon Steel Core of Ferrothorn and Florges, Kieran Black is phenomenal. He's one of the, I don't know actually how many people got Fire, Water, Grass cores, but he's got it in Rotom Heat. Where's that grass type? Ferrothorn, right? And a water type in Blastoise. Very good defensive. And then he has obviously my favorite offensive core of Lopunny, Greninja, and Mew. And then I think one thing that really, really clicked with me is a common mistake I see when people draft Mew is they draft it to a point where it has to be run. It doesn't have to be, but very, the team looks like it has to be ran defensively. And that just kind of kills Mew's true potential because this thing can do whatever the frick it wants if the team has the right roles filled. And I mean, if you take Mew out of this team, Yewen's team still works great, except it no longer has the fighting psychic dark core. But Mew is here, meaning he can run it whatever he wants. He can run it defensively, whether physical or special. He can run it offensively. He can run it full support, taunting, defogger. It just can do whatever it wants. Plus, since this is Ubers, he actually can use Genesis Supernova, which is pretty nice. I mean, I really like this team a lot. I have issues. It's good. That's all I have to say. It's great.
You can't really nitpick it, it's pretty damn flawless.
I remember one nitpick. He has 4 rock weaknesses, but only 2 rock resistances. Yeah, that's all I found. That's all I found. And even then, that's not that bad.
an issue.
That is the only gripe.
covered. A lot of other
Yeah,
topics
that's
are
I
pretty
the
covered.
only gripe I found.
The rapid spinner though.
Well, no, he just means like rock stab, like Stone Edge clicking.
Yeah, not stealth rocks. Like you've got that covered. Your defog and spinning is off the charts. But like I'm talking specifically rock stab moves like Stone Edge and whatever else comes. Rock slide, head smash, whatever.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
Like a little Ghost Week too, I would say. Just not too much. It's got one resist, and then a couple weaknesses, but it's all right. And then immunity, Lopunny, yeah. So yeah, really nailed it on the head. It was definitely the best team we've seen in ATA. Best team we probably will see in ATA, because I don't know if we're doing this format again, but if we do, maybe somebody can top it. But yeah, this is probably going to stand.
This will be a team to beat.
This is probably going to stand as one of the greats for a long time to come.
Yeah, why don't you just paint a fucking target on my back? Why don't you? God damn it. Who's the team to beat? Loses week 1. Well, that was easy.
Yeah, he's yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bit of a change, because I've done the person I've done the leagues with the most is this guy here, and it's definitely a bit weird seeing him adopt my play style and seeing me switch over as well. We had a very long conversation one night about how it would be nice for us to experiment with other things, and especially for me to adapt to a more offensive Gen 7, which is what I did slowly and slowly. Now it seems like we're on opposite sides of the spectrum. He's drafting a lot of balanced teams lately. I'm picking a lot of good offensive teams. But as he has, I'm a big bro, so of course he's going to have the GOAT team. He's probably going to go undefeated, win this entire championship thing, and get me back for what I did to him in IBL. But there's all that. I mean, I got my shots in. He's just such a good draft. Such a good draft. I would say the A+ rating was really good for this draft. You know, you've got me and Muff there at like the A- range. I would say TP Tolan more like B+, TP probably like A- maybe, and the B's and B- is between Butter Machine, Chakro, and Sleeping Panda. I don't know if I spoke for everybody there, but
yeah, I don't think anyone's got a team that's in the C range at all whatsoever.
no.
Yeah, all of these teams are really solid. Like they really are.
Well, they have to be. It's Ubers.
I know, right? Especially with only 8 people too.
Yeah.
Well, sorry we made this one so long, but with a third opinion, it tends to drag. But I think it was a lot more fun this way, and I think people are going to have kind of fun watching it. You could also tell that Galen and I are pretty damn tired. I have to be up in about 5 hours for my job, so I'm going to get to bed. But thank you guys for watching. We're going to keep making content like this. Hopefully this season we actually do kind of continue a season, because I would like to do like little fun things with this, talk about some of the games and stuff. Maybe like a mid-season kind of like power ranking, talk about some of your games in a big kind of generalistic season perspective talk. I think that'd be nice. And Muffin, please join us on that one as well. We love your insight. And it's not just limited to him. If anybody's watching this and wants to be a part of the power ranking team, please let me know. I always love having new additions. But with that, I'm done. I don't know about you guys.
I got nothing more to say.
All right, thank you guys.
Have fun this league.
Yeah, this is a fun league, guys. This is a fun league, guys. Let's not kill this one.
Again, if you hurt your feelings, get the fuck over it.
Honestly.
If you don't want to, you can talk to one of us in private. If you had any issues with what we said, feel free to talk to us in private, for real. But yeah, have fun with this stuff. If you want any criticisms or like constructive ideas, or maybe
help with team
building stuff, how we do teams better, if you want to make trades and stuff like that, again, talk to us. We're down to help. At least I am. I know Brandon is. Muff. I'm sure he is. He's a good
I'll
guy.
hope too.
He's a nice guy. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's one of the first people I met in the big community. So he's a really nice guy. All right. Well, thank you guys, and we will catch you guys in the season. Get ready to get swept. Goodbye.